MVP around the White House. So thank you, Madam Vice President, for that. And let me just thank you all for joining this call today. It's important. It's for a good cause. And thank you for your action. But I also want to share some exciting news today in our effort to get Americans vaccinated. We have met the President and Vice President's goal of 70% goal for vaccinating adults 30 and older. And by this time on July 4th weekend, we will reach 70% of all U.S. adults 27 and older with at least one shot. We also have more good news. 175 million Americans have now received at least one shot, including 75% of people 40 and over, 87% of seniors, and 16 states and Washington, D.C. have at least 70% of adults with one shot overall, and 56% of all adults are fully vaccinated. It was not easy. It's real progress, and it has our country returning to normal much sooner than anyone could have predicted. On the one-year anniversary of the start of the pandemic, less than 2 months after taking office, President Biden and our administration and the Vice President set what at the time seemed like an audacious goal, and that was for us to be able to declare our independence from COVID-19 by July 4th. But remember, we were cautioned at that time that it would not be large gatherings, it'd be small family gatherings. Well, we beat and met those expectations beyond our wildest dreams. But so now America is getting ready to celebrate this 4th of July, with large celebrations planned in communities all across the country. So just a second on how we got there. We got there because the President and the Vice President treated this like a wartime effort. We built a whole of government response to defeat the pandemic and mobilize state and local governments, the private and nonprofit sectors, everyday Americans to join the fight. And since the President took office, COVID cases, the deaths are down 90%. And we've gotten at least one shot to 70% of the adults 30 and over. And then in the last 150 days, we've built an unparalleled, first of its kind nationwide vaccination program that has made getting a shot very easy. And many of you have joined us to help get that done. But I want everybody to understand that this was done because it was done on purpose. It was done intentional. The President and Vice President didn't look for attention. They didn't go out grandstanding. What they did was they put their heads down and they worked and they developed plans and they made everybody in the administration work. And we're going to continue to do that, but we need your help, and we're going to continue to do it with equity in mind. But we want you to know that we really believe we can hit all of our goals. We can get the country out of this pandemic. And if you saw today, the President and Vice President's efforts on building back better, restoring the economy, and making sure we help the families that need help, it is succeeding. So the American Rescue Plan, the Child Tax Credit, and now an infrastructure bill with human infrastructure to follow. Their leadership is amazing. We're on a roll. And with that, as I talk about amazing, let me turn it over to the MVP of this call, Vice President Kamala Harris.
Thank you, Congressman Richmond, for all your work as well. You work tirelessly around the clock and are very much a part of the fuel that has driven this process. I'm looking at the big board over here. We have thousands of people on this call, and I'm just seeing the faces of all of you who have been so tireless in your role of leadership. And I just want to say thank you. And it is an honor to be with everyone today. So because of you and the Made to Save group and folks, you have helped to make our We Can Do This month of action possible. And thank you to the 600 partner organizations that have stepped up to join us. Thank you to every single volunteer who helped make this month a success. And that's in the midst of the the responsibilities, the obligations that each of you have on a daily basis. On top of all of that, you have volunteered your precious time to help heal and strengthen our country. And as Congressman Richmond said, to date, our Month of Action partners have made 2 million calls and texts. That's you. You all have done that. You have recruited thousands of volunteers, and you've held events in all 50 states across the country. Community organizations have hosted pop-up clinics. I have visited some of them. Faith leaders have given sermons about vaccine safety as an extension of all that we understand that is about love thy neighbor. And volunteers have taken part in the vaccine knockathons. Whoever thought we'd be talking about vaccines in a knockathon, but that's what we're doing, going door to door to help people make appointments. And the impact of your work is real. The proof is in the progress. Going into this month, we were beginning to see major slowdowns in vaccination rates in states where there was vaccine hesitancy. That was one of our real concerns. Well, progress. 3 weeks later, we have seen some of our greatest gains in these same states we were concerned about. States like Alabama and Georgia and Florida and Texas, where we have seen vaccination rates grow by 3 and 4%, which is incredibly significant when you're thinking about the numbers of folks that we're talking about. And all told, since June 4th, nearly 7 million additional American adults received at least one dose of the vaccine. Today, more than, as Congressman Richmond mentioned, today more than 65% of all American adults have received at least one dose. So that's incredible progress. But of course, we are not done. This weekend is the final push of our month of action. So we need you to keep doing what you have been doing. And again, I know it takes a lot to do what you've done already, but it's making a difference. It's making a difference. So please keep knocking on doors, keep signing people up for appointments, and keep letting people know that the support is out there, and let them know about it. From free rides to and from vaccination sites to free childcare through providers like the YMCA. Let's let folks know that they are right to be concerned about the demands on their lives and how are they going to be able to overcome those demands to go and get a vaccine. And we have been addressing that with free rides and our whole process that's been about pharmacies staying open 24 hours, about what we do about child care, what we've been doing to challenge employers around the country to give people paid time off to go get their shot. So let's let people know what's available to them to make it easier for them to get vaccinated. For my part, as you know, I've been traveling around the country. On Monday, I'm going to continue our bus tour. I'll be going to Detroit as part of We Can Do This bus tour. And a few weeks ago, I'll tell you, I was in Atlanta. And it was, as every visit has been, it was very special. But I'll tell you, I had the honor of going back to visit the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta. And of course, as you all know, that is the church where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. preached until his death. And today, in addition to still being the great Ebenezer Baptist Church, it is also a vaccination site. So I went there to see what they were doing at the church in terms of reaching out to folks in the community. And it really highlighted a point, which is that it, like so many other places we've seen that are vaccination sites, continues to be a house of healing. And when I was there, I talked with a group of folks who had just been vaccinated and the healthcare workers who were administering the vaccines. And this is what I shared with them. It's partly what I've already mentioned to this group. The act of getting vaccinated, the act of administering the vaccinations, well, these acts are the very essence of what the Bible and so many faiths tell us about the importance of our role and our power when we say love thy neighbor. And I truly believe in the power of that, right? Knowing the strength, the power of that love, and what it can do. And also understanding that when we talk about neighbor, well, it might be the person next door who you know, and your neighbor is also a perfect stranger to you. Somebody you may meet on the street, but in their face, though they may be a perfect stranger, you see a friend. And so this is the work that you all have been doing, which is reaching out to folks, perfect strangers to you before now, and connecting with them and letting them know and reminding them that we are part of a community of people. And what affects one of us will invariably affect all of us, both in terms of how we lift each other up and how we connect with each other, reminding folks they are not alone. So we do this work, I know for so many of you, from a place of love, from a place of neighborly love, from a place of knowing that we are all in this together, and when we approach our world from that perspective, we are actually a stronger world. So to all of you, I say, as you already know, we can do this together. We can do this. We are doing this. We will do this. And so again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please be well, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. We're so grateful for your leadership and all that you are doing to help people get vaccinated and get these messages out there. Just tremendously grateful to you for being with us today. And the Vice President mentioned the Month of Action bus tour, so I'm really excited to turn it over to Asma Mirza, the Chief of Staff for the White House COVID-19 response team, who's going to give us an update on that bus tour. Asma?
Great. Thank you so much, Josh. Thank you so much, Madam Vice President, for your inspirational words. And thank you so much to all of you who are on this call today. As the Vice President mentioned, we've been working closely with the Department of Health and Human Services, the Made to Save team, and now for almost 2 weeks, the Vice President has led a bus tour visiting local vaccination. They're going there to highlight the ease of getting vaccinated, encouraging people to get vaccinated, and energize and mobilize grassroots vaccination education and outreach efforts. The First Lady, the Second Gentleman, members of the Cabinet have all joined this tour. And it's been incredible. In Greenville, South Carolina, as the Vice President mentioned, she rallied canvassers convened by the NAACP and visited a YMCA that was offering free childcare. Just this Tuesday, the First Lady was in Nashville, Tennessee, with a country superstar, Brad Paisley, highlighting the importance of getting vaccinated. Yesterday, the Second Gentleman was in Chicago, Illinois, where he met with canvassers and visited a barber shop that is participating in the Shots at the Shop campaign to improve vaccine confidence and vaccine access, particularly in communities of color. And today, right now, as we speak, the President is in Raleigh, North Carolina, kicking off a canvassing event with over 200 volunteers. It has been so heartwarming and inspiring to see the energy and enthusiasm of local groups like all of you who care deeply about their neighbors and want to see their communities get vaccinated. But we're not done yet. We've got more stops coming up. As the Vice President mentioned, she's got another stop coming up soon. We will also be in Dayton and Columbus tomorrow, and we'll be reaching out to many of you to help make sure that as we come to these places, we're mobilizing groups and we're getting people vaccinated and driving them to the vaccination clinics that will be there to lift up. So let me end where I started, which is to say thank you. Thank you to all of you who, for everything you have done, everything you will do, and everything you are doing to help protect your neighbors and make your communities safe. It's getting harder every day, but it's important. Every 5, 10, 15 people who go to get vaccinated because of your efforts in that day are more people who are safe, more families that are safe, and less opportunities for this virus to spread and to mutate into new variants. So thank you again to all of you.
Thank you so much, Asma. I really appreciate that update and your leadership. Just grateful for all that you are doing and all that the team is doing. With that, I'm excited to turn over to Sabrina Busbar, Special Assistant for COVID-19 Response at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, who is going to share just a couple spotlights of some partners who are doing phenomenal things as a part of the Month of Action. Sabrina?
Thank you so much, Josh, and thank you all for being here today. It is great being with you all. And I'm so excited to just spotlight a few key organizations who have been doing so much around the month of action. So first, I want to highlight the New Direction Healthcare Solutions. They have had over 5,000 conversations through door knocking and phone banking. And out of those 5,000 conversations, 1,800 of them were unvaccinated, and they helped make sure they had the resources and toolkits needed to get their vaccine. The second organization I want to shout out is Mattapan Greater Boston Technology Learning Center, who has done such tremendous work through hosting virtual meetings with local communities, religious and political leaders. And they participated in our weekend of action, where they gathered over 20 volunteers to canvass and promote people in the area to get their vaccine. They visited many churches during this event effort, and through that, they had over 6,000 conversations and spoke with 1,000 unvaccinated people. And lastly, I want to also showcase Black Women for Positive Change Baltimore, who has done a lot through vaccination clinics, where they vaccinated 300 individuals that were of all races. They have hosted Zoom town halls with panels of nurses, doctors, and scientists to help dispel the myths of COVID vaccines. And they are also doing a family and friends phone bank where everyone has to recruit 5 individuals and bring them with them so that they can make sure everyone is getting vaccinated. This is such amazing work, and there's so many other reports coming in. So we thank all of the organizations who have been reporting all of their great work for the month of action. But with that, that is a reminder for you all to fill out the report for us. We need you to report all of this great work that we are inspired to read every single day at madetosave.org/report-back. That's madetosave.org/report-back. We thank you all for your great work, and we can't wait to just keep reading about the next 10 days and everything you all are doing. And we're here to support the work as well. So if you report to us, we'll make sure we're there for you all. And again, thank you for the amazing work. Back to you, Josh.
Thank you, Sabrina. Really grateful for that, for your leadership, and to all the partner organizations that Sabrina mentioned, as well as all the other partner organizations that are doing just incredible things all over the country. With that, I'm excited to turn it over to Ivana Cancella, Principal Deputy Director of Intergovernmental and External Affairs at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, to talk about what comes next. What does the work ahead look like over the next 10 days? So, Ivana?
Thanks, Josh. Happy Thursday, everyone. If folks take a second to scroll through using the side arrows, I find it so impressive to be on a Zoom with warriors. You all are the reason that we have made progress on vaccination efforts, and you all are the reason that we will continue to ensure that our communities are safe from the virus, and that as a country we move forward. Take a look at the folks you're on this call with, because you are all part of a massive effort. We have 10 days until the 4th of July. And if you think back to what you were doing 10 days ago, it probably doesn't feel like all that long ago. It's not that much time, but it is enough to make a tremendous impact, especially if you take the time to make a plan today and block out the necessary time to talk to your friends and neighbors about the importance of getting vaccinated. We know that one of the primary reasons folks may not have yet received the vaccine is because they don't know where to go get one. We have tools and toolkits to ensure that you can provide that information to your friends, neighbors, sisters, brothers, uncles, cousins, anyone who will listen, to ensure that they get to and through the vaccination process over the next 10 days and beyond. And we've made it as easy as possible to volunteer, whether you want to volunteer from the comfort of your home and send text messages, if you want to jump on the phone and make phone calls, if you want to lace up your sneakers and go door to door, all of it is possible. If you visit madetosave.org/volunteer, one more time, madetosave.org/volunteer, you can find events in your zip code, events in your community, so that you can talk to the folks that you see at the grocery store, that you've seen behind a mask for the last year and a half, and make sure that they have the tools and information they need to make a decision about getting vaccinated. We're going to hear more from Jalakoy next about how to even do the work to host an event on vaccine education or join one. And it is incredibly important that we all take the time to do our part. We will get through this. We can do this, but we must all do it together. And I couldn't think of a better group of people to ensure that on July 4th, we have continued to make the necessary progress to beat the pandemic. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks so much, Ivana. Just incredible stuff there. And I think, you know, one of the things that stands out to me so much is this is not just life-giving work, it is life-saving work. And what we do in between now and July 4th will have that level of impact because, you know, we have just seen how devastating this pandemic has been. So now is the time to take action to end it. And with that, I'm excited to turn over to Jalakoi Solomon, the Chief of Staff of Made to Save, who is going to talk about some of the specific resources that y'all can utilize to be a part of this work. Jalakoi?
Thank you so much, Josh. I'm really excited to be here with everyone. Again, my name is Jalakoi. I'm the Chief of Staff for the Made to Save campaign. Made to Save is a national education and grassroots campaign working to save lives and see an equitable end to this pandemic by building trust in and increasing access to the COVID-19 vaccines in communities across the country that have been the most impacted by the virus. And as Vice President Harris said earlier, our coalition of over 600 partners across the country have been very proud to support this month of action. We've mobilized thousands of volunteers and had millions of conversations with people helping to do their part to keep our communities safe. And as Ivana said, it is all hands on deck. So whether you're hosting your own event or bringing friends with you to volunteer, we need you to join us to ensure that we talk to and provide this trusted information about the vaccines to as many people as possible. And what's great is that Made to Save has made it really easy for you to plug in. You can head to madetosave.org/volunteer to find a ton of great opportunities between now and July 4th to plug into this critical work. So whether you're hosting an event, we have toolkits, we have sample scripts and training guides, everything you will need to host your own event. You can also find at madetosave.org/volunteer. And then if you are just attending an event, you're hosting your own event, you're bringing your friends, your family to help do this work of having conversations in community. We have also some great opportunities, whether you find something local or if you want to attend a national event hosted by Made to Save. This weekend, we'll have a phone bank on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, a text bank on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then we're super excited that over this weekend and into next week, we are launching a new tool called Reach. The Reach app allows you to quickly text your friends and family to share content on social media around the vaccines, you know, trusted information that you can share with friends really quickly, templates, scripts, everything that you need in the palm of your hand to be able to help us do this really critical work. We will be having trainings on how to use those tools on Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern next week. And we will send all of this information out after the call, but also you can find it all at madetosave.org/volunteer. And so don't worry, we have everything that you need. We will give you trainings, sample language, the tools. We've got it for you to make sure that you can help plug in. So if we can all commit to at least one action between now and July 4th, one action in the next 10 days, we will do amazing work to help fight back against this pandemic and do all of the life-saving work that we've talked about. So again, thank you for everyone for all the work you've already done and all the work that you'll continue to do until we can get every last person vaccinated. So thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Jalakoi. Appreciate that. Thank you for your leadership, and a huge thanks to Made to Save for just being an incredible partner and playing such a big role in making this month of action happen. We're deeply grateful, and I'll just double tap what Jalakoi said about making sure that everybody out there lets us know about the great things y'all are doing at madetosave.org/reportback. With that, I'm excited to turn over to my colleague, Deirdre Schiefling, who's our Advocacy Director at the White House Office of Political Strategy and Outreach, to take us home with a call to action. Deirdre?
Okay, thanks so much, Josh. And it's great to be with all of you, and so great to see all of your faces. And I just want to say one more time how invaluable person-to-person outreach is in this moment. Invaluable. There is no substitute. Social media doesn't do it. newspaper articles don't do it. Like person-to-person outreach is the key to success here. And I know that we also especially need to reach younger people who may not have felt so, have not felt the need to get vaccinated so immediately. We need to reach those folks especially. I will say myself, I took my 12-year-old and my 15-year-old to get vaccinated a few weeks ago. I felt so much relief that they were able to access that vaccine and be protected against this virus, and really want to share that experience with everybody. So please, please, please sign up for the month of action at wecandothis.hhs.gov. And please take action this weekend, canvassing door to door, getting on the phone, texting your neighbors, or hosting an education event, especially if there are a lot of people in your community that still have questions, that still want to find out more information. We can help with that. We can provide those answers, that training at madetosave.org/volunteer. You can sign up for canvassing, phone banking, text banking, hosting an event. And then please let us know that you're doing that by also going to madetosave.org/report-back. So please spread the word about all of these grassroots efforts. I will say, as somebody who spent most of my life as an organizer, grassroots organizer, it is the most powerful tool that we have to do that person-to-person outreach. And now is the moment to do that. We are very close to the end of the month to action on July 4th, and we're really doing this final push, final sprint this coming weekend and for the next 10 days. So thank you so much to all of you for joining us today. Thank you so much for all of the work that you've already done and will do. And we're just really honored and appreciative to be in this partnership with all of you. Thank you so much. Turning it back to you, Josh.
Thanks, Deirdre. I'm just going to end with one of my favorite scripture quotes. It is, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." And I think that applies to all of us. Right now, there is a lot of important, good work to do. Let us not grow weary, and let us continue on together. Thanks, everyone, for being here, and we look forward to the next time we're able to connect.
Morning, and welcome to the announcement for the National Park Service National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom program. This is a beautiful Friendship Friday culminating at the end of National Park Week. The Network to Freedom is announcing 16 new listings representing sites, facilities, and programs across 9 states in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The Network to Freedom advances the idea that all human beings embrace the right to self-determination and freedom from oppression. For 23 years, the Network to Freedom has provided support and technical assistance to knowledge keepers, grassroots organizations, engaged communities, and professional partners in telling the stories of the history of resistance to slavery by freedom seekers and their allies. Not only does the network support historic sites, which we're all familiar with, but they also democratize access and research to the general public. They hold facilities such as archives, libraries, and special collections that hold the diaries, letters, and other historical newspapers and documents that freedom seekers left to tell the stories themselves, their allies preserved so that their stories could be told into the future, and also plantation records and wanted ads for those enslavers that tried to return them to a status of enslavement. The network also has multiple interpretive programs that tell the history of resistance that are not place-based, but tell the general histories, legacies, and impacts, connecting those histories and impacts to the present and into the future. These interpretive programs are traditional in nature, such as tours and interpretive program, First Person, but also through art, photography, theatrical productions, and music. The network allows the public to connect to and learn about the struggle for self-liberation in an engaging and culturally meaningful way. Now we are going to have the opportunity to see an example of how music has supported resistance to enslavement and to the current fight for civil rights by marginalized communities. Matt Hampsey, a supervisory ranger at New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park, is going to render us a selection.
Good morning. I am grateful to be part of this important event today. Music has always played an important role in the history of the Underground Railroad. African-American spirituals have served as a firsthand account of the painful struggles, as well as offering hope and sustenance along the long road to freedom. New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park has chronicled some of these stories of hope, struggle, and emancipation in its musical collection, Freedom is Coming, Songs of Freedom, Resistance, and the Underground Railroad. One of these songs, Many Thousand Gone, reflects on the struggles of those who found their way to freedom, as well as the many others who endured a lifetime of enslavement.